Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? For you guys who are new here, my name is Lauren Ringgold. I'm an LPN. I have a background in long-term care only. I was a CNA since 2005 in long-term care. Like as a CNA, I did like agency, and then I started at my current job, and then at my current job I became an LPN in 2011. So it's now 2021, so yeah, I've been doing it for a minute. I've been all in long-term care, no hospital at all whatsoever. Okay, so anyway, this video oh, so basically, like, long-term care is hard, so I am trying to make it easy and let you know how it's supposed to be done. And then if you know how it's supposed to be done, then you have something to strive for, because you're not always gonna get to that point where you're doing it perfect. Okay, so the state wants it a certain way, so it's got to be that way when they come, and you have to strive for that. And I know it's hard, but it is what it is. So this video is gonna have one last documentation tip that I wanted to well, it's in addition to the one tip from the documentation video, that it's just a point I didn't really drive home, so I just want to drive that point home. That point being, when you document, even if it's just a little behavior, like patient is patient is refusing showers, so you would like let the doctor know. Say you're on 3 to 11. No, you can't call the doctor for that. So just email the doctor and let them know, look, so-and-so is refusing showers. Okay, just so they know, because it's their patient and it has to do with their health. So let the doctor know via email. You don't want to wake the doctor up, or if she's standing there, you might let her know, look, so-and-so refused your shower. But after you tell the doctor, the next most important thing, like they're neck and neck, tell the doctor, tell the unit manager. Once you do that, then you're good. If it happens again, tell the doctor, tell the unit manager. And if you're 3 to 11 or 11 to 7, email. Just let somebody know. Then they know this is a recurrent behavior. And then document that you, if they're confused, you would document, I encourage this patient. And if they're not confused, you encourage a patient to get a shower. You educated them on hygiene and why is it important. Like, you're gonna, this could happen, that could happen, blah, blah, blah. So you educate on hygiene, and then you document that. So you're fine. Okay, so and then you always do your nurse's note. So email the doctor, email the unit manager if you're 3 to 11, 11 to 7. On minor little things I'm talking about. It doesn't have to be just a refusal of showers. I'm just using that as an example. So after you email the doctor, you email the unit manager, or if you're on day shift, tell your unit manager. And when you're telling the doctor about something important, and throw it in at the end, oh, and so refused a shower. They've been doing that a lot, something like that. Okay. After you do that, now you can do your nurse's note. You educated the patient, you told the doctor, and then the unit manager will take it from there. You don't have to call the family. That's something the unit manager does when they're doing the care plan. Okay, that's the RN's job. But if you're already talking to the family, yeah, you can let them know. No problem. So that was the one last documentation tip that I wanted to drive home. Like, make sure you tell the doctor and the unit manager. And I'll do a video on communicating with the whole healthcare team and what you need to communicate to who, because yeah, the unit manager is supposed to do all that, but you could do it too. And the unit manager will follow up and do it on her own. So, you know, that's just something you could do. So anyway, guys, did you notice I'm like bringing it back to the bed? This is where I started out, like when I started my YouTube channel, like in 2018 or 19 or something. I started this channel and I used to have a whole bunch of junk in the background, but now I just have my table at the bedside and I have my scale over there that you can't see, but definitely decluttered and more focused on like fitness. Okay, so anyway, just wanted to throw that in there because when I'm looking at the phone and I'm filming this, it just reminds me of when I first started out, those first couple videos that I did before. Anyway, so this video now, I'm gonna be talking about rounds. Okay, why are rounds important? Why do you have to do them? And what should you like be looking for on your rounds? Okay, so rounds are different for different shifts. So I'm talking to 3 to 11 nurses right now and CNAs, but CNAs probably aren't watching. But CNAs need to watch this rounds video too, because CNAs need to do rounds still. CNAs, you need to know where your patients are, okay? It's not just on the nurse. It needs to be a team effort. So rounds on 3 to 11, they're usually up, okay? But if you go in a room, you start at your top room. Like say you're starting at 300 or you're starting at 200. Okay, 200 is my top room. You start there and you have your paper with all your patients down, or you can have a blank paper. However you want to do it, get yourself a little system, okay? Okay, room 200. They're in the bed. They're in their room. 3 to 11. They're in the room. That's what you want to see. They're in the room. They're up. They're breathing. They look okay. Okay. Hi, how you doing? Just checking on you. Just coming in. How you doing? So the patient knows, okay, I got a new nurse now. It's you. And then, all right, that patient's in the room. Fine. Bam. On to the next patient. Window bed. Oh, they're not in their bed. So, okay, even though they're not in the bed, look around the room. Like, is the bed a mess? Did they leave trash? Did they leave, like, incontinent Did they leave clothes on the floor? You know, just take note. Do they have an oxygen machine there? Is there a tube feeding pole there? You know. And then what I want you to do is an empty bed. Okay, so you need to know, where's that patient at? Where's he at? You can't just be like, oh, okay, they're not there. Oh, well. No. Where's the patient at? Either write it down on a blank piece of paper, or what I do is I have my census sheet. And when I used to do 3 to 11, I used to put a dot next to their name. Okay. That's the patient that's not in the room. Next room. Oh, like I said, are they awake? Are they alert? Are they okay? Are they wheezing? Are they on the floor? Okay, like you could definitely find a patient on the floor on your rounds, and you don't want to be doing rounds after that nurse done left and now you stuck with a whole incident report. So no, if I find somebody on the floor, we gonna work together a little bit. Like, call the family, email the doctor for me, start the incident report, I'll finish it. Like, we gonna work together because this was half on your shift. So yeah, we gonna work together. You know what I mean? Most reasonable nurses will. If they don't want to work together, like, handle that how you want to handle it, but don't get into a fight on the floor. Don't get into a fight on the floor. Just be the bigger person and be like, okay, we're going to talk about that later. Because at that point, you're going to be mad. You're going to be upset with that nurse. Like, what you mean you're not going to help me? Unless they got somewhere to be, like, they got to actually get their kid or something. Like, you know this person. You know what I mean? And it's like, all right. But you know they got you on the next shift. Like, you already have a relationship with them. Like, it's a situation by situation. It's a person by person basis. But know what you're getting stuck with. That's part of rounds. And you need to know, where's the patient? If they're not in their bed, they get a dot next to their name. Okay? And then you will track them down. I'm going to tell you 3 situations. 1, I had a patient, wake alert oriented times 3. Okay? He scheduled his own transport, got on the transport, left, and before that, he made his own appointment. So, he made his own appointment, left, went to some doctor, nobody knew. I came in on 3 to 11, and I'm like, where is my patient? And nobody knew. Meanwhile, the front desk is like, yeah, he went on his appointment. And we didn't know about no appointment. Like, this guy just totally made his own appointment and went on about his business, and nobody even knew. That's why you do rounds. And you're supposed to be doing rounds every 2 hours. Or at least 3 times a shift. Beginning, middle, and end. I mean, at least that. You know. So, you want to know where the patient is. Oh, and then the other thing, I was supervising. Because they had no supervisor. And it was like, they just needed me to supervise. So, it was just for a few hours till the RN came in. So, anyway, I was doing my rounds on the whole building. Okay, so I couldn't find this dude. Turns out, in report, I didn't get this. But it turns out he has this, like, he had this work program that he would go to every day. I didn't know that. Nobody told me, but the girl who was giving me a report was like, that's normal to her. Like, she figured I knew, but I had not worked that floor. Like, so I didn't know. If I didn't do my rounds, he would have walked in the building. I would have been like, oh, I didn't know you left. And I would have felt real dumb. And then another time, I have a elopement risk patient. She, all of a sudden, it was breakfast. She wasn't in her bed. And that day, I didn't do my rounds. And then the CNA went to give the tray. She didn't give her rounds. She didn't do her rounds. She went to give the tray. She's like, where's so-and-so? I'm like, excuse me? What you mean? I'm like, oh, she's not in her room. And then I like went to the shower room. I'm like, okay, she should be there. And then I went to this other place where she usually be at. She wasn't there. So at this point, I'm like, did you like see her at all? And the patient, and the CNA hadn't did her rounds. I didn't do my rounds. That patient could have been down the street somewhere. God knows where doing. Oh, God. It was like, I was freaking out. You know what I mean? And turns out, because therapy was looking for her. And then it was like, okay, so she's not in the therapy room either. You know what I mean? But it turns out the therapist came, the physical therapist assistant came from the other floor instead of the therapy suite. So that's why she didn't know that the patient was in therapy. But if I would have did my rounds, I would have known, yeah, the patient's most likely in the building. You know what I mean? Because I just saw her like a half hour ago. Because it was only an hour into the shift when we were looking for her. So that could have been, I don't know what would have happened to me if I actually lost a patient. You know what I mean? You know, but, you know, I don't know what would have happened. It would have been a big deal. Like, they would have had to call the state, probably. They would have had to call corporate. Like, it would have been this whole big thing. All because of me. You know what I mean? And then if she wasn't there and she was out the building, I could have put it on the nurse before me. Like, look, where is so-and-so? Like, don't even play with me. Where is this patient at? Where's your patient at? Like, I didn't even take the keys. That's why you don't do a report. You don't do the NARC count till you do your rounds. Where's this patient at? You can keep them keys. We're not starting nothing until we find this patient. Okay? So, I mean, don't be like that. Don't have that attitude. But that's the whole, that's part of it. Don't get stuck with nothing. So, one last thing. 111 to 7 and 17 to 3. 111 to 7 when you coming on or you're going off, and 17 to 3 when you're coming in. Everybody's asleep, right? So dead people look like they're sleeping. So I'm not playing around. You need to make sure their chest is going up and down, okay? You need to make sure. I had a CNA. She used to do her rounds every single night. I used to love her. And she would just like not kick the bed hard, but she would just tap it with her foot and then make the person like be like, what is that? You know what I mean? She'd be like, all right, they're cool. And then the patient would know, like, you know, oh, that's so-and-so. And then the confused ones, the ones that literally have no idea, no opinion, no nothing, like they don't know what's going on. They're totally dependent on you as a CNA or you as the nurse. Pull that cover back and check. What do they look like? Are they laying in? What are they laying in? A nice clean bed or a nice dirty bed? Okay, so do your rounds, and do your rounds at the end of your shift too. So that next nurse, when she does her rounds, she ain't gonna find nothing. Okay, so that's it. That's it on rounds. And just make sure you're, like, if you're a new nurse and you're just starting out on the floor by yourself and you kind of know the patients, like, just when you're doing your rounds, look around the room and look at the patient from head to toe. Do they have an IV sticking out? Do they have a tube feed sticking out? Do they have a pole, 2 feet pole? Do they have an IV pole? Do they have oxygen at the bedside? Do you see floor mats? Like, you could tell a lot about your patient by looking at the room, okay? And that's basically it on rounds. So, when you come on, patients first. Don't worry about that nurse trying to leave. Like, yeah, worry about her. Do your rounds quick. Don't be chit-chatting with the patients. Just be like, I'm going to be right with you. I'm going to do my rounds real quick. And they're not going to like it because a lot of nurses are used to going straight to the NARC box. Let's count the NARCs. Let's give a report. They hand over them keys and man, they're off the floor. No, you have the right to do your rounds before you get report, okay? Because nurses have that overlap of a half hour where you're supposed to be on the floor together, all right? A lot of nurses leave early. Once their relief comes, they're leaving. Is it wrong? Is it not? I don't know. I'm not judging nobody. But, you know, if they want to leave or they want to rush me, okay, but I'm going to know what you're leaving. I'm going to know what you're leaving. And if it's going to be a problem, it's going to be a problem. And you don't have to make it a problem every time. Next time you see that nurse, look, you left me this, you left me that. I don't appreciate that. You know, or don't even say it like that. Like, say it very respectfully. Just let them know, look, I see you. I see you. I see what you're doing. Don't get disrespectful. Don't. Always make it constructive. Like how I said it. Look, last time you stuck me with I got stuck with a whole fall, so I'm gonna just go do my rounds. You know what I mean? Or you don't even have to say that. You could just be like, I'm gonna do my rounds, okay? I'll be right with you. Just give me 5 minutes. Or you can show up early so you don't inconvenience people, like 5 minutes early. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, you know? That's a nice thing to do. Like, always have respect when you're dealing with other people. Like, that's a whole other video too, like how to deal with people in different situations, and how to deal with people who are a problem, how to deal with people who, you know, do certain things, whatever. I'ma shut up. If you watch this long, thank you so much. And that's it. Do your rounds every shift, every time you come on, okay? Bye.